The deputy president has a strategy to counter everything that Raila Odinga is doing. Raila Odinga is due to make a major announcement. You can be sure that the deputy president has a strategy, to steal the show away, to steal the narrative away from Raila Odinga. Indeed, there was a very interesting development recently. When Raila Odinga made his last Azimio la Umoja trip to the Mount Kenya region, to Nyeri to be specific, the deputy president was there the very next day, campaigning, countering whatever goodwill and support Raila had gained during his rallies in Nyeri. So on our show today, we break down the deputy president's political strategy to win votes away from Raila Odinga. It is a simple strategy. It is a controversial strategy. Find out what it is. Karibu sana, and let's get down to it right away. It is now very clear that the strategy of the Deputy President, William Ruto, in fighting for the presidency in 2022, can simply be referred to as the strategy of Chafua na pesa. In my view, it is important, super important, that all Kenyans, all voters, are able to realize this and understand very intimately the strategy of all major candidates for next election. And the reason is simple. Political strategy tells you a lot about the character of the politician. It tells you a lot about the most likely manner in which that character is going to lead you when you give them power with your eyes opened and with your brain still working. It tells you very clearly what is most likely going to happen. Because all through the centuries, human character has never changed. The telltale signs of human character have never changed. Now, let me elaborate on this Chafua na pesa strategy. Raila Odinga visits a certain part of Kenya. He talks to the people. And then he leaves. Hawachi pesa. Now, let's not be naive. I know if you're a Kenyan in the middle class, you really don't know how the vast majority of Kenyans live. You have no idea how they think. Please allow me to assist you. I was talking to some voters in Western Kenya the other day, and I was telling them, this Waluke guy who's supposed to be the deputy president, he's a legislator. I don't trust him. I told them that corruption in our country is something which is going to finish us. And this man has been accused of corruption. The allegations against him. Indeed, there's a case in court right now against him. I will tell you exactly how they responded because it was super fascinating. They changed the subject. True story. They started talking about politicians who are mean. Actually, the word they used, the Kiswahili word, ni wagumu, ni wagam, hawatoangi pesa. And after many minutes, giving me many examples, many names, including the name of Moses Wetangula, huyo mtu hatoangi pesa. Roho ngumu sana, hatoki pesa. After that long lecture on politicians who don't give money, they came back to Aluke. And smiles lit up their face. Yeah. They were talking all at the same time. Huyo jamaa ni poa. Huyo jamaa hutoa pesa. Sasa huyo mtu bwana, ako na roho mzuri sana. That is precisely how the vast majority of Kenyan voters think and respond to politicians. Let's not lie to ourselves. So after Raila Odinga has finished this rally and he has gone, in fact, a good example is Nyeri the other day. After Raila left, Ruto arrived. And he arrived in grand style. I heard somebody saying that in Nyeri alone, one day alone, the deputy president dished out 7 million Kenya shillings. Chafua na pesa. My point in telling you that story is don't underrate that strategy. Don't underrate the strategy of the deputy president. In my view, he understands the Kenyan voter more than most politicians. And it seems he prepared his financial strategy and his financial war chest strategy a long time ago. I think we all agree he started making preparations in 2013, 9 years ago. And in his mind he knew, I can't do this without more than enough money. So, let's analyze this without emotions. Raila Odinga lands somewhere, does his political business, leaves. William Ruto lands somewhere, does his political business, and leaves. What do you think the impact is on the ground that both candidates make? It is very obvious. Many voters are left with that warm feeling in their heart about William Ruto. I dare add that this is exactly the same strategy used by Moi and Kanu during multi-party politics in the 90s. And if we are to look at history, it was effective. So what am I trying to say? Does this mean that Ruto will win at 9 a.m. in the morning or 7 a.m. in the morning on August 9th? No, that's not what I'm saying. It is a little more complicated in this instance. And I'll tell you why. If Ruto was facing just any other politician, I would be very worried. Yeah, I would start making sweeping statements and conclusions about the general elections, especially the elections for the presidency. But WSR, as many people like calling him, is not facing an ordinary politician. He is facing Raila Odinga, a Gwambo, a living legend, a man who packs a mammoth rally and is not dishing out money. In my view, that is a politician you should be very worried about if your strategy is mainly dishing out money against him. It is okay to organize for somebody, to embarrass Raila at a rally and tell him, wacha kutupatia historia, stop giving us history. Tell us what you're going to do for us now. Tell us what you're going to do for us when you're elected president. And young people cheer very loudly. Young people are very happy. But do those young people have a voter's card? In 1992, Kanu dished out a lot of money. Billions. In fact, the way that money was raised affected the Kenyan economy forever. We're still suffering from it. Because before multi-party politics, a loaf of bread in Kenya was less than 5 shillings. Within just a few years of multi-party politics, the price of the same loaf of bread was over 20 shillings. And rising rapidly. The way Kanu raised that money to dish out had an effect which will be very difficult to reverse in Kenya, even in the next 100 years. Inflation went overboard. But guess what? When it came to voting, very many Kenyans who had eaten KANU money voted solidly for the opposition. True story. Those are historical facts. The history we are being told to forget about. I've watched with great interest as the government has not been very enthusiastic about getting young voters registered to vote. Don't get me wrong. The government has not denied young people the opportunity to get a voter's card. No. But the same government knows very well that when you're doing something amongst the wananchi, you need civil education. You need campaigns to encourage people to do what you want them to do. In this instance, register new voters. But the government has not decided to take that route. And indeed, the government can have many excuses. No money, etc., etc. But in that behavior, I've read something else. The government is not very keen on getting young people to register as voters. Understandably so. Young people are irresponsible. They don't want to hear about history, which is very important, because it helps you tell the character of some certain people. Young people tend to get overexcited when money is dished out somewhere. Young people can easily be swayed by money. But the vast majority of voters we have currently, who voted in 2017 and saw with their own eyes what happened, those poor Kenyans who noticed that their vote did not count, those people are older and wiser. Those people will not be easily swayed by money. So let's wait and see how this develops. In my view, this is very interesting to watch as we head towards the 2022 polls. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.